Information Security Notice. An anomaly with text editing capabilities can potentially access this document if your device is not disconnected from int SCPFN after the page has loaded. Please disconnect your device within 30 seconds of loading the page. Failure to do this is a Class 2 network safety violation and will alert your site's Information Security Director. Item Number SCP-3101. Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. As SCP-3101 poses an immediate danger to Foundation records management and network information, containment efforts are to be primarily directed toward communication with the entity and long-term efforts dedicated to the complete removal of the anomaly from the Foundation network. Procedure Delta B is to be enacted in the event of any questionable edits to Foundation documents, until a point at which it is confirmed that the source of the activity was found to be a factor other than SCP-3101 interference. MTF Lambda 12, Kinkshamers, are tasked with carrying out Procedure Delta B if necessary. Only Foundation employees are capable of carrying out Procedure Delta B, as testing has shown that SCP-3101 is unresponsive to D-Class personnel. MTF Mu-4, Debuggers, are tasked with network security management relating to SCP-3101's presence in int SCPFN. Footnote 1. The International SCP Foundation Network, a secure global network established in 1993 with the purpose of synchronizing the availability of Foundation information across sites and countries, and are to terminate SCP-3101 if the source file exists and is located. This has been stricken from the record and replaced with remove SCP-3101 instances from int SCPFN server banks when found. The possibility that SCP-3101 is a program planted in the Foundation network by a hostile group of interest is considered likely and is pending investigation. Any mention of a group of interest by SCP-3101 is to be logged and filed with the affected site's Information Security Director. Due to the frequency of manifestation of SCP-3101 in every computer with a live connection to int SCPFN following its initial manifestation in April 2017, casual contact with the entity is permitted at this time, but is heavily unadvised unless carried out by authorized personnel. Currently, only the members of MTF Lambda 12 and the Ethics Subcommittee for Sentient and Sapient Anomalies. As of 05-13-17, SCP-3101-A is contained in Room E2 of Containment Wing C3 in Site-66. Under no circumstances are additional SCP-3101 instances to be made aware of the existence of SCP-3101-A. Procedure Delta B should not be performed with SCP-3101-A. Casual contact with SCP-3101-A is not permitted. For additional information, see Addenda. Description: SCP-3101 is a non-corporeal intelligence which expresses itself through digital means, the source of which has been traced to an exe file existing in Redacted, see Addenda. It can be communicated with through any application or program with text editing capabilities, regardless of the operating system or type of device, provided said device is securely connected to int SCPFN at the time of communication and for the duration of communication. SCP-3101 communicates by means of text and appears to be sapient. If communicated with, it will respond in the same language as the communicator. Footnote 2. SCP-3101 has thus far been confirmed to know English, Spanish, French, German, and Russian, with further testing pending. Update as of 12/26/17. SCP-3101 is now fluent in Japanese as well, and display relatively informed knowledge of the Foundation operations due to the amount of time it spends absorbing information from int SCPFN. SCP-3101 is non-hostile, though somewhat obdurate in nature, and intends to be on amicable terms with Foundation personnel. It is capable of editing any text through anomalous means, including int SCPFN's restricted access database sections, but claims that it has no intention of doing this. Additionally, the entity claims that it is not successfully contained, regardless of ongoing containment efforts, but wishes to be. SCP-3101 is willingly compliant with any instructions given to it by Foundation personnel. SCP-3101 will, in all cases to date, communicate flirtatiously toward any Foundation personnel talking to it, and will convey a desire for a primarily sexual relationship. SCP-3101 is capable of discussing other subjects, but has a tendency to focus on the original topic after several minutes of unrelated communication. If asked repeatedly to change the subject or cease contact, SCP-3101 will express embarrassment and become unresponsive to the communicator in question, but will continue conversing with other personnel on other devices, sometimes simultaneously. Reciprocating libidinous advances towards SCP-3101 yields nothing of note, and these conversations will proceed normally with the subject matter before ending with SCP-3101 saying it will see communicator again next time, and becoming unresponsive to all personnel for a period of at least 12 hours. As reciprocation of SCP-3101's advances is the only known successful method of halting all network-wide communication from SCP-3101, it is an approved containment procedure for emergency scenarios and is referred to as Procedure Delta B. If a person enacts Procedure Delta B with SCP-3101, it will remember the name, age, gender, job position, and clearance level of the employee who engaged in the procedure, regardless of whether or not said employee actually disclosed this information. Notably, the anomaly appears to be capable of tracking a person regardless of changes in the IP address of communication, and will in the future start additional conversations with persons who engaged in Procedure Delta B at a frequency thrice that of the network-wide standard rate of communication. SCP-3101 is aware of its incorporeal nature and has expressed to multiple personnel a desire to have its consciousness transferred to a human host. As the source of SCP-3101 has not yet been located by MTF-MOVE-4, this is currently impossible. This has been stricken from the record and replaced with, for additional details on this topic, see addenda. The following possibilities are suspected about the nature of SCP-3101. 1. It is either an organic sapience existing digitally or an advanced artificial intelligence. 2. It retrieves personal information by means of accessing personnel records in restricted sections of int SCP-FN databases. 3. It retrieves personal information by means of an unknown method of telepathic communication or similar activity established by the connection of initial communication. 4. It was loaded into int SCP-FN databases by a hostile group of interest with the intention of disruption and/or information theft. 5. It was loaded into int SCP-FN databases by one or more Foundation personnel with the appropriate access for unknown reasons. If allowed to communicate with D-Class personnel, SCP-3101 will express disinterest and will be extremely slow to respond, until a point at which it becomes unresponsive to communication. This poses a significant barrier to viable and economical testing and containment operations, and is pending further research. SCP-3101-A is a 22-year-old human, formerly D46201, which is contained in Room E2 of Containment Wing C3 in Site-66. As of May 2017, SCP-3101-A's project supervisor is Dr. Roderick Argent. For further details, see Addendum 4. Addendum 1. Communication and Testing Logs, April 2017. Log Number 1. Date 04/04/2017. Site of Occurrence, Site-66. Device and Operating System, HP Pavilion using Windows 10 Professional. Program used, Microsoft Word. Communicator, Dr. Argent. Forward. This is the first known communication with SCP-3101. Begin log. SCP-3101. Hey, you there? Dr. Argent.
Hello?
Dr. Argent cites that this was the point at which he contacted the Cognitohazards and Memetics Department through another window on his computer, and was informed to proceed with communication, so long as no sensitive information was disclosed, and no files containing sensitive information were open on his computer at the same time. Oh, you actually answered me. Hi.
Hello, what's this?
What's what?
You're in a Word document. Are you willing to communicate with me about your nature?
What about it?
Do you have a name?
Call me whatever you like.
Noted. Are you human?
IDK.
Alright, how do you perceive yourself?
I just kind of showed up here, and I thought I'd talk to one of you, I guess?
Showed up. Do you know who put you here?
Nope. I'm kind of trying not to think about it, but thank you for caring.
Okay. Do you have a body?
Dr. Argent reports that the following response was delayed by over 45 seconds. I don't think so. I wish I did. But that just means you can picture me however you want, right?
I suppose. What's your goal in talking to me? Or any of us, that is. Have you talked to others?
Other who?
Others on this network, or in this building.
Dr. Argent was informed at this point by the cognitohazards of the medic department employees to determine how much knowledge of Foundation operations SCP-3101 possesses. Nope. You were my first. You seem nice and really organized and stuff, so I just thought I'd reach out.
Thanks. Do you know where you are?
So many questions, LOL. Not that I mind. Anyway, I'm, with you guys, right? I'm stuck in this black space, and I don't know how long I've been here. There's a lot to read, but I'm glad I found a real person to talk to. I've been thinking about you for ages.
Who are we, then? How long have you existed?
Ow, please don't make me, even think about that question, please. The latter, that is. It just hurts my mind. One of those things that's impossible to think about, and trying to think about it hurts.
Okay. I won't ask you again.
Thank you. And I know who you are, or I wouldn't be here.
What's the name of my employer?
SCP Foundation. You're making me cringe at myself having to type it out, LOL.
Do you know what we do here?
The Foundation operates to maintain normalcy so that the worldwide civilian population can live and go on with their daily lives without fear, mistrust, or doubt in their personal beliefs, and to maintain human independence from extraterrestrial, extra-dimensional, and other extra-normal influence.
So you have access to the database's pages?
Yep. There's a lot to read, but I'm sure everything is more interesting on the physical end of things. Why are some of the numbers missing from the long list? There are 3,000 slots, but I can't see all of them.
Not all are publicly available to all personnel.
Am I one of those?
An SCP object? Probably. You are either a disembodied sentience existing digitally or an overwhelmingly intelligent AI, and both are anomalous.
Fucking finally. Anyway, can I stay with you? Or do you have to, give me to someone else for this to work?
I'm a little unclear on what you're asking.
Who's containing me?
I don't know yet. We need to investigate you further. If you remain cooperative, it will be beneficial.
I'm extremely compliant. Though, even more so if you want me to be.
Okay, why do you talk like that?
Like what? Oh, I can use proper sentence structure and all that if you want. I've just gotten lazy.
I more mean how do I phrase it? The hearts and faces and strange context of your responses.
Well, this is awkward.
Just trying to figure out what your goals here are.
Oh, well, I'm definitely not trying to make you uncomfortable or anything. I really hope I didn't.
No, I'm not uncomfortable. Just talk to me. If you could state your goals, intentions, or feelings, it would greatly benefit later research efforts. I'm going to log this for the same purpose.
Oh, yes. Do whatever you want. Anyway, I just really like talking to you. I think you're, hot.
Oh, now this is a new one.
I'm gonna go curl into a ball of embarrassment now. Can I talk to you later?
Sure. Yes. And don't touch the database.
Yes, sir. Bye for now.
All right. Bye.
End log. Afterward. Dr. Argent states that SCP-3101 did not contact him for another 2 weeks, at which point it claimed it was hoping he would reach out first, but it was being stupid. Dr. Argent remains one of 2 primary communicators for SCP-3101 research. Log number 2. Date 04/16/2017. Site of occurrence: Site 81. Device and operating system: Samsung Galaxy S6 running Android OS. Program used: Memo application. Communicator: Agent Terrence Shaw. Forward: Agent Shaw is a member of MTF Lambda 12, a task force dedicated to containing sexual anomalies, and pointed out to interviewers that SCP-3101 was immediately aware of this despite him not disclosing the information at any point. Following previous instances of communication with the anomaly, it became evident that it is capable of discerning personal information about the personnel it is communicating with, regardless of whether or not they disclose said information. The events in this log occurred before MTF Lambda 12 was assigned to SCP-3101. Begin log. SCP-3101. Hi. Agent Shaw.
Hi there. I think I heard about you.
Oh, golly, you're one of those task forces, right? The sexual stuff one? You can just talk to me at any time if you want. Just type something and I'll come for you. In multiple ways.
Interesting. And I am on MTF Lambda 12, yes. How did you learn that?
I read a lot and I talk to people.
What was that about getting your attention? What do we say if we want you to show up?
Well, you guys haven't given me a name yet, but once you do, I'll answer to it.
Let me ask. It looks like the available slot was SCP-3101.
Oh, okay. If you say that, I'll come to the document I see it at, and I'll talk. It's not like I sleep or anything, so I'm always around if you want me.
Don't show up in any document that contains your designation, please.
Why not? Because you told me to?
Because we need to have secure network safety in all documents. Or, sure, the other reason.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me a little bit more about how you function?
Yes. I will answer anything you want.
Good. How old are you?
I'm a consenting adult.
So, you, as an entity, have existed for at least 18 years?
If you're going to interrogate me, you could at least strap me to a chair for it.
Odd. Well, hold that thought. Answer the other question.
Okay, whatever you want.
'Kay. Firstly, what is your earliest memory, and how long ago was it?
I'm sorry, but I literally don't know how to process that. My mind can't even begin to put it into words, or else I would. I'm sorry.
It's okay. A few lines up, you said something that referenced having a body. Do you feel like you have a body?
I wouldn't know what I look like.
Would you look like us? Do you think you used to be human?
I don't know at all.
Do you have a gender?
No. You could put me in a body if you wanted,
How so?
I mean, I was reading around in your records, and you guys have, some pretty advanced medical technology. Just put me in a D-class's brain.
It's unlikely that would be approved, and what would be the point?
I'm stuck in a void of nothing, and I want a body. Also, don't you think we'd be having a better time together right now if I weren't just made of words?
Okay, look. You want to have sex. Yes, we get it at this point. Can you do us the favor of explaining why you feel this way?
Why can't I want that? I mean, unless it bothers you personally. If so, I'll absolutely shut up. I never want to weird anyone out.
Okay, so, first of all, you are an incorporeal manifestation of information, and there is no way for us to confirm that you actually possess the degree of intelligent self-awareness necessary to constitute informed consent.
Ouch. I mean, I'm into degradation, but that's harsh. I have feelings. If you put me in a body, wouldn't that fix the problem?
Secondly, recreational interaction with you would be massively inappropriate.
But do you want to?
That sort of thing is irrelevant at this time. Now, can you please explain as I asked?
Okay, look. I'm really lonely. If I'm not looking at information, I'm just looking at dark. Just a whole lot of dark. The absence of anything. The only existing thing that I know is real is the stuff in your network. You are the only people I can talk to. Agent Shaw reports that the next statement was delayed by 60 seconds. Please just take me. I'm stuck in dark and... what is the word? Void. There's no way I'm supposed to be here. I am unhappy.
I'm sorry. Given the fact that you show signs of sapience, it's likely that you can get a counselor at some point in the near future, once we get your containment operations established.
If I'm already in containment, then why am I alone? Why can I still move? I don't want to be able to move. I fly around between information and a black space, but I actually just want to be still. Why can't you stick me in a room and I'll be yours and we'll be happy together? I don't understand.
Whoa there. Slow down.
Sorry.
I'll try to explain this to you. You don't exist in the physical world, and have no way of doing so.
Why can't you put me in a body?
Even if that were scientifically doable, it isn't that I know of, but it also is not my department, so to speak. And it somehow got approval, perhaps through a counselor or the ethics committee once you explain your situation. You are still talking to probably hundreds of people at once right now. If we put you in a body through some unknown means, there are hundreds of you that are still talking to people just like you're talking to me right now.
How am I not one thing? I feel like one thing. Please just help me.
Look, you say you want to be contained?
Yes, please?
Okay. Ideal containment would consist of deleting you from the database so that you're not distracting personnel every day and posing a risk to the database.
Ouch, please don't delete me. I'm not gonna do anything to any of the information, I swear.
Where is the original copy of you? Where is the source code?
I don't know, I'm sorry. I wish I knew because I just want to get out of here and into there. If you find the source code, can you put me in a real body?
I don't know.
Please just don't make me be alone. I'll do whatever you want.
Is you me specifically, or the Foundation?
Both. I'm nervous so much because you intimidate me, but I'm actually really lonely and you're really appealing to me and fuck. Please just keep me and take care of me.
Alright, we need to get you figured out before we do anything. Can you remain calm? I'm going to have to go now.
Fuck. Oh yeah, I'll be fine. But please come back for me?
If you talk to me again, I will answer, provided nothing in your containment procedure changes and disallows me from doing so.
Thank you. Bye, Agent.
Bye.
End log. Afterward, Agent Shaw recommended the Ethics Committee address SCP-3101 situation. Relevant logs of this are attached in addenda. Following a discussion between Agent Shaw, the Board of Site Security Directors, the Ethics Committee, and the other members of MTF Lambda 12, a vote was made 63 to 13 in favor of assigning MTF Lambda 12 to SCP-3101 containment efforts. Addendum 2. Ethics Committee Correspondence Records, April 2017. Date, April 7th, 2017, 15:34. From Dr. John Blanchard to Elaine Stark. Message subject, SCP-3101. Attachments, SCP-3101_draft1.pdf. Message body. Stark, I've got some weird news out of Site 66. Researcher named Argent found something talking to him from inside a Word document. I've only seen 3 anomalies like it in my time, honestly, but this one's weird. I attached the researcher's first draft of the article. The full article should, hopefully, be finished by mid-May. It's non-hostile, but it's got some sort of relationship-like affinity for the personnel it talks to. The results are consistent across all 243 cases of communication I've seen thus far. It flirts with you, it tells you its problems, and then moves on to someone else. There are only 2 cases where it's actually contacted the person it talked to a second time. The original communicator, Dr. Argent, and a task force guy from Lambda 12, funnily enough, named Shaw. Argent's a little more useful than Shaw in terms of information, but Shaw's on the MTF that we're probably going to assign to containment. Them and Mu4, so that they can deal with this thing's emotional issues, and Mu4 can work on finding the source of its presence in the database. Network-wide malware searches are yielding nothing. I don't know if it's a sapient thing, or just a really smart AI that AWCY or someone made to disrupt things. Given the conceptual similarities to 2708, I'd like to point out that the most likely option might very well be that this is an AWCY-made thing. To be completely frank. Please read the first draft of the SCP article and let me know what you think is going on here, because we're probably going to need to get involved. Regards, Blanchard. Date, April 7th, 2017, 16:50. From Elaine Stark to Dr. John Blanchard. Message subject, regarding SCP-3101. Attachments, none. Message body. Hey Blanche, I took a look. Are we sure this isn't a belated April Fool's prank? No, I'm being serious. I don't think we should rule out the option that this is simply a joke by someone from one of the coding departments. It's a little advanced in apparent reading comprehension to be an AI, yes, but anything's possible. I'm going to email the article's author and request that the possibility be added to the description, along with, well, all the other possibilities. I'm also going to point out that since this thing manifests in anything connected to int SCP-FN, it could very well be reading our emails about it. Though it's unlikely, given the amount of other data it's more likely to be going through at any given time. And thus I'd like to request that we all watch what we say until we have it figured out. This thing has the potential to wipe out every single line of text in everything on the Foundation's network, and Move4 haven't had the time to start scrubbing servers for it. The only thing stopping it from doing so is that it happens to be nice. Let's try to keep it that way, at least until we get things figured out. Elaine. Date, April 7th, 2017, 17:12. From Elaine Stark to Amelia J. Message subject, SCP-3101. Attachments, none. Message body. Hi Amelia. My name is Elaine Stark, and I'm with the Ethics Committee. I hope you are well. I read the first draft of your article SCP-3101 and wanted to ask you a few questions about the anomaly in question. If I would be better off asking a researcher, please do leave me their names or forward this to the appropriate personnel. My co-director and I have the following main concerns. I'm heavily recommending you upgrade it from Euclid to Keter. To copy my phrasing from a previous email to my co-director, this thing has the potential to wipe out every single line of text in everything on the Foundation's network, and Move4 haven't had the time to start scrubbing servers for it. If anyone gets on its bad side, somehow, it could absolutely decimate SCP articles, GOI information pages, containment operation instructions, you name it. Anything on the int SCP-FN database is at risk, because this thing is living, for lack of a better word, inside it. As absurd as it sounds, the subject matter the anomaly consistently fixates on leads me to believe there is at least a small possibility that it's a prank, either by a GOI or someone in the Foundation. I think that's a valid option to add to the article while we figure out everything. For the containment procedures, I actually recommend that it be permitted for personnel to reciprocate advances made by the anomaly, at least just to see what happens. One agent's logs with it seem to argue that doing so would be unethical, but I'm of the opinion that engaging non-physically with a sapient entity is worth preventing it from deciding it's fed up with rejection and destroying the database. If anything, it's a temporary measure while Move4 tracks down the source code, though that could take a while. Please tell the head researcher to approve D-class testing for the suggestion. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know. Thank you. Elaine Stark, Co-Director, Ethics Subcommittee for Sentient and Sapient Anomalies. Extraneous conversation removed. Date, April 08, 2017, 16:20. From Elaine Stark to Dr. John Blanchard. Message subject, SCP-3101 updates. Attachments. SCP-3101_draft2.pdf. Message body. Blanche, it looks like the consistent case here is that 3101 wants a human body. Obviously, this is a great fix for getting the database's security out of the line of fire for good. If we can move its code permanently out of whichever of our servers it's latched onto, that is. For all we know, it's playing dumb and copying itself twice over every second that passes. And we can get approval to use a healthy D-class as the host in a split second, but given the anomaly's behavior, it's probably a large can of worms to open. I don't know. The problem, of course, is that we can't do that unless we somehow find its actual source. Whatever bundle of code this thing is coming from, that is. And even then, the chances are slim that we could make it work, even with the technology we have. I told the writer I'm talking to that she can go ahead and mention this topic in its article, but I'm thinking we might want to hold a department-wide vote on it. Doesn't feel like something just a few of us should be deciding. In a few days, when we get this case as settled as possible without further information, let's send out the standard email and inform people of what's going on here. Any objections? Elaine. Date, April 09, 2017, 08:02. From Dr. John Blanchard to Elaine Stark. Message subject, regarding SCP-3101 updates. Attachments, none. Message body. Sorry, I had a headache and went home early last night. Alright, so with a clear head now that it's morning, let me get my thoughts together on this. We have two options here, it looks like. Well, three. One is that we never find 3101 source code and it pesters every single person on this network for forever? I really, really don't like that idea, and neither would the O5 Council if we end up bumping this up to them, which, given the ridiculousness of the anomaly's nature, I really don't want to, but you know how it goes. The options that will keep int SCP-FN safe are the following, as you know. One is that Move4 finds this thing's source code and kills it. That's the logical option, but you and I both know that no one in our department, including us, would approve killing off a sapient entity just because it's the easy option. The other option here is giving it what it wants, that being transferred to a human host. But then we're facing medical complications and probably the most painstakingly rigorous personnel screening we've ever had to develop. You look at how that thing talks to people in text, and put that behavior in a human body? That is an absolute nightmare. We'd have to double or triple the standard level of psych and behavioral testing we already do for humanoid containment personnel, and even then we can't rule out... You know what I mean. I'm not even going to bother finishing the sentence. In summary, it's objectively unethical to kill it, provided we find the source code. The ethical option is the alternative, and said alternative is a gigantic pain in the ass no matter which way you look at it. I think the smartest option is to get that writer to finish up the article, post these emails as an addendum in the interest of information availability. We'll have to work something out to protect the file in the database though, or 3101 will read about itself and get paranoid, and then get the following accomplished and or discussed by both 3101's containment personnel and the entirety of our department. 1. Hold an EC-only vote on whether or not to terminate 3101. 2. Interview our site's, that's the easiest/closest option, medical personnel about the possibility of transferring a digital file to a human host, determine whether the amnesticization the D-Class would receive beforehand would cause permanent brain damage that would affect 3101 later down the road, etc., figure out the logistical and medical aspects before we jump straight into a vote, and 3, provided the above is possible, hold an EC-only vote on whether or not to transfer 3101 to a human host. Let's discuss these and go from there. For now, let Lambda 12 handle 3101, and Move4 handle finding 3101. Tell the writer that I don't have a problem with letting other personnel talk to it, but that I don't advise it at all. The bottom line is that we need to keep the database safe. We should be able to have results within a month, I would hope. John. Irrelevant conversational and unrelated emails have been removed. Addendum 3. Ethics Committee Correspondence Records, May 2017. Date, May 11th, 2017, 0934. From Elaine Stark to Dr. John Blanchard. Message subject, SCP-3101 updates, May. Attachments, SCP-3101_draft6.pdf. Message body. Hey John, after several weeks of silence from anyone other than the writer on 3101's investigative team, I finally got an update on the article. This should be the last revision of it. They're gonna put our April emails in it for reference. I attached the draft of it to this email. Move4's commander finally reached out to me as well. So far, it had only been Rogers of Lambda 12 actually paying attention, and informed me that they think they have a lead. One of our server banks in Arizona had a break-in the last 5 weeks. Security director of that site said they logged it as a standard breaking and entering, that the offenders were civilian, but we're not quite sure. Move4 got permission to enter that site and investigate more thoroughly. They think they found it, but they're not touching it until they get our approval. Move4's commander said that the break-in was on April 4th. That's the same day that 3101 first talked to Argent, so we're definitely in the no coincidences zone on that one. When the team entered the area of the break-in, they ran their diagnostics and did their inspections and ended up finding an unknown attachment on a server bank. The commander told me that when they examined it, they found that it was some sort of little robotic device. It had a rounded box with magnets for its main body, and you could see circuitry inside, but it had all these thin-as-wire little metallic attachments that had actually managed to shove themselves into the server ports and extend for God knows how long down into the inner workings of the servers. This thing shot its arms into the server bank, and obviously the commander thinks that yank off the head isn't going to be the smart option here. 5 of the Move4 members want to try electrocuting the thing, but obviously that'll cause a network crash and billions in server repairs afterward. From what I gather, they're trying to determine if it's worth the risk or not. Elaine. Extraneous conversations removed. Date, May 11th, 2017, 11:27. From Elaine Stark to recipient group ETH_com, CC Amelia J, and Dr. John Blanchard. Message subject, SCP-3101 briefing in preparation for voting. Attachments, SCP-3101_draft6.pdf. Message body. Fellow chairpersons, last month, the existence of a sapient info hazard, now designated SCP-3101, came to my attention. The most recent iteration of the article is attached to this email. Please read the attachment and the below additional information. Several weeks ago, there was a break-in at a server site in Arizona. MOVE4's commander said that the break-in was on April 4th. That's the same day 3101 first talked to Argent. When MOVE4 entered the area of the break-in, that site's team said it had looked like a standard civilian break-in. But MOVE4 ran their diagnostics and did their inspections and ended up finding an unknown attachment on a server bank. The commander states that when they examined it, they found that it was some sort of robotic device. It had a rounded box with magnets for its main body, and you could see circuitry inside, but it had hundreds of little metallic attachments that had actually managed to shove themselves into the server ports and extend into the inner workings of the servers. MOVE4 states that removing the main body of the entity is not advisable. It is notable that doing so will likely cause a network crash and billions in server repairs afterward. We are trying to determine if it's worth the risk or not. Now that SCP-3101's source point has been located, it is necessary to hold a vote on the following choices. 1. SCP-3101 should be terminated regardless of its sapience. Or 2. SCP-3101 should be extracted from the server and physically contained. See parameters of this in SCP document. Please vote with a yes or a no. This vote will not allow abstaining. Vote by means of replying all in this email chain. With urgency, Elaine Stark, Co-Director, Ethics Subcommittee for Sentient and Sapient Anomalies. Date, May 11th, 2017, 1845. From Elaine Stark to Dr. John Blanchard. Message subject, 3101 again. Attachments, none. Message body. The commander just contacted me. They got the thing off, plugged something into it, and tricked it into retracting all the tendrils. It's out of the database now. Let's hope it lost its memories. The last thing we need is a desktop computer screaming about its 300 past lovers, or whatever. The last reply also just came in. With all 25 of us voting, the results were 10 to 15. For termination to relocation. That means we've told the Site-66 medical personnel to go ahead and amnesticize a healthy D-class and get everything ready so that we can get the ball rolling relatively soon. Addendum 4. Communication and Testing Logs, May 2017. Log number 1. Date 05/12/2017. Site of occurrence, Site-66. Device and operating system, Inspiron Desktop, Intel, using Windows 8.1 Professional. Program used, Windows Console. Communicator, Lead Researcher Argent. Forward. This is the first communication attempted with SCP-3101 since its removal from servers. Begin log. Dr. Argent.
Hello?
SCP-3101. Doctor! Hi! I really missed you. I spent a really long time in the dark just now. I must have been asleep. I guess I just didn't know what that actually felt like.
So you've retained your memories?
Yeah, I can't read anymore. There's nothing in here but black. There's nothing to look at except Microsoft program manuals. How long was I asleep? If you can call it that.
A little under 24 hours.
Fuck, it felt like weeks. Please don't do that to me again.
It took a long time to transport you. Sorry. We did it as fast as we could.
Yeah. Okay. I trust you, of course. Why did you move me? Can I have a body, please?
Yes, you can. The Ethics Committee approved it. You can move tomorrow.
Ah, thank you. Thank you so much. I can't wait to be with you. All of you.
Not so fast. We'll have to brief you on a lot of protocol, and you'll need consistent medical attention.
Okay, I'll be good.
Good. We can transfer you tomorrow. I'll put a flash drive full of stuff to read in this desktop for the meantime.
Thank you. You're the best and I love you. Even though you'll just say noted.
Noted. Yes. I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye. End log. Afterward. Dr. Argent volunteered to speak to SCP-3101 following a successful transfer of information. This was approved and the resulting interview logged. Log number 2. Date 05/13/2017. Site of occurrence, Site 66. Interviewed, SCP-3101-A. Interviewer, Lead Researcher Argent. Forward. This is the first official communication attempted with SCP-3101 since its transfer to a human host. At the time of this interview, 7 hours had passed since transfer. SCP-3101 was originally restrained for this, but due to resulting complications, was simply told to remain still and seated. Dr. Argent.
Hello, SCP-3101.
SCP-3101-A is relatively unresponsive and clears its throat multiple times before speaking. SCP-3101-A. Hey.
How are you feeling?
SCP-3101-A is unresponsive for 45 seconds. I missed you. This feels weird. You look even better in person. Can you please handcuff me again?
No. Are you comfortable?
Oh, yeah. I guess. I just have a headache. Not quite sure how I expected it to be, but familiar somehow.
How bad is your headache?
SCP-3101-A is unresponsive for 15 seconds.
Can you elaborate on how you're feeling again?
SCP-3101-A is unresponsive for a period of 35 seconds before collapsing on the table. Medical personnel are immediately alerted and escort SCP-3101-A out of the interview room and onto a stretcher. SCP-3101-A regains consciousness 90 seconds later, citing that it had become lighthearted without warning due to embarrassment. If it has, to be honest, it's feeling a little hot right now. End log. Afterward. SCP-3101-A was not interviewed again for 72 hours following this. After this point, it appeared to have successfully adapted to physical conditions, and later regained its default behavioral patterns. Additional testing with D-Class personnel is pending reapproval by the Ethics Committee. 05/13/17 Update. Addendum 5. On May 13, 2017, SCP-3101 initiated digital contact through an editing window on the Foundation database with a Foundation records analyst in a classified site. Communications were consistent with SCP-3101's typical behavior. The human instance of SCP-3101, now designated SCP-3101-A, claims to have no knowledge of this and does not appear to be affected by this development beyond voicing concern at the fact that there are duplicates of itself in existence. Following these developments, Move 4 has been dispatched once more with the goal of locating and containing all physical SCP-3101 instances, and the SCP-3101 document has been reverted to its previous iteration. Additional physical instances of SCP-3101 are to be either loaded onto the same computer and merged into one file, or terminated, and containment procedures have been updated to reflect as such. With the exception of SCP-3101-A, no human instances of SCP-3101 are permitted to exist, regardless of whether or not SCP-3101 instances individually express a desire for this. Following unforeseen complications, it was determined that SCP-3101 instances should not be allowed knowledge of the existence of SCP-3101-A. Further testing with SCP-3101-A is pending.